Hey there, this is Teacher Celine, and today we're going to learn about signed numbers.
Our objectives for this video is to describe the signed numbers and identify real-life situations that make use of it. And we will also solve routine and non-routine problems involving basic operations such as addition and subtraction of signed numbers using appropriate strategies.
But before anything else, let's learn, where did signed numbers come from?
Back in 200 BCE, Chinese accountants used black for negative rods for debts and red for positive rods for credits. During 300 CE, Diophantus spoke of the equation 4x plus 20 equals 4 as absurd, because x would have to be negative 4. And in 630 CE, the Hindu Brahmagupta spoke of negative and affirmative quantities, although these numbers always appeared as subtrahands. And on 1300 CE, the Chinese mathematician Chu Shiku gave the rule of signs in his algebra text. This time, let's define a few terms. First is the number line. So this is what a number line looks like. The numbers on the number line increase as one moves from left to right and decrease on moving from right to left. As you have noticed, the number line has numbers and it has a 0 on the middle of it. We will learn more about it later. Next is the sign numbers. It refers to the positive and negative numbers. Next is the positive numbers. It is found on the right side of 0 and is written with or without a plus sign. So here in our number line, the positive numbers don't have a positive sign, but you can always use positive sign to indicate that they are positive. Next, we have negative numbers, found on the left side of 0 and is written with a minus sign. Next, we have 0. It is found in the middle of positive and negative numbers and is neither positive nor a negative. Then we have addition. It is the finding of the total or sum by combining two or more numbers. Then we have subtraction. It is the taking away of one number from another.
This time, we're going to learn more about signed numbers.
Let's read this problem. If the temperature increases and becomes 50 degrees, which number would display this best? Letter A, 50, B, negative 50, C, 150, D, negative 50. Which do you think displays 50 degrees as it increases? And the answer is A, 50, because it says increase, and 50 will stay as a positive number. Next, 10 degrees below 0 on a Celsius thermometer indicates what signed number? Is it a positive or a negative number? Let's think. Yes, it's going to be a negative number. And how do you represent 10 degrees as a negative number? It will become negative 10. Correct. Next, the trade balance of the country increased by 3,000. What sign number does this indicate? Is it a positive or a negative number? It's going to be a positive number, since it says increased, and increased represents a positive number. Now, how do you represent 3,000? It's still the same, positive 3,000 or just 3,000. For each sign number to the right of 0, there is a corresponding sign number to the left of 0. As shown here in our number line, there are a few identified integers with their opposites. These pairs of integers like 2 and negative 2, 5 and negative 5, 7 and negative 7 are called opposites or negatives of each other. But take note that opposite works on both ways between negative and positive numbers. Now let's determine the opposite of each sign number. Letter A is 14. What is the opposite of 14? We have negative 14. Correct. Next is 0. What is the opposite of 0? Yes, it's still the same. It's 0 because 0 is neither negative nor a positive number. Next letter C is 20. What is the opposite of 20? Yes, it's negative 20 because 20 is a positive one and the negative is 20. So these are some of the examples of positive and negative numbers and their keywords. So you can take a screenshot for this one. We have the altitude, temperature, money, and time. For altitude, we have above sea level as positive, below sea level as negative. Temperature, we have above zero as positive and below zero as negative. Money, savings is positive and loans is negative. Time, time after is positive, time before is negative. And trend, increase is positive and decrease is negative. Now this time, let's try to solve these word problems. First problem. John is a mountaineer. He went on a long hike. He started his hike at 250 feet above sea level. When he reached the peak of the mountain, he was at 1,500 feet above sea level. How many feet did John hike up the mountain? Now first, we're going to identify the given. We have the starting point of John's hike as 250 feet above sea level, which will become positive. And the end point is 1,500 feet above sea level, which is also a positive. Now what we're going to do is we have to find the altitude between John's starting point to his end point. And we will get 1,250 feet. That means John hiked 1,250 feet above sea level. Next, at 10 a.m. it was negative 4 degrees Celsius. At noon it was 10 degrees Celsius. Did it get warmer or colder? How many degrees warmer or colder did it get? Now we're talking about temperature, and at 10 a.m. it's negative 4 degrees Celsius, and during noon it became 10 degrees Celsius. Now we're going to find out if it got warmer or colder. The temperature got warmer. Now let's find out how much it got warmer by illustrating it through our number line. So we have the starting point at 10 a.m. It is negative 4 degrees Celsius. It will be represented as negative 4 in this number line. And during noon, it became 10 degrees Celsius and it will be represented by positive 10 in this number line. So let's jump from 4 to 10 and let's count how many jumps did we get to proceed to get 10. And now we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 jumps. That means the temperature got warmer by 14 degrees Celsius. Now let's try a few more by representing the statements in signed numbers. For number 1, we have a pay cut of 14,000 pesos. How will you represent this into signed numbers? It will become negative 14,000. Number 2, a raise of 4,400 pesos. How will you represent this into a signed number? It will become 4,400 pesos or positive 4,400. Next, number 3, a loss of 30 pounds. How will you represent this into a signed number? It will become negative 30 because it says loss. Number 4, opposite of 3,030. It will become negative 3,030 because 3,030 is already a positive one. Number 5, an increase in stocks by 53%. We have positive 53 because it says increase. See? Pretty easy, right?
So now that you have learned about signed numbers, this time we're going to learn about addition.